Hey, Dental Nachos crew, it's Paul, Dr. Nacho with the JFO, Just Find Out key resource and sponsor. And our title today are dental-focused accountant superheroes. And my answer is kind of, because they will help protect you from making a huge practice mistake and also help you along the way live your best dentistry life when you buy a practice, the stuff we don't learn in dental school. So I'd like to welcome you to Talking Nachos. Jared, Duckett, and William Ladd, share with us what you guys do and how you help dentists. I'll start with you, Jared.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having us here. So we are a full service CPA firm that focuses on dentists. And basically what we do is we come in and we don't want to just be that transaction. We like to partner with the dental practice owner, figure out what their goals are, and then be that guide that takes them there and monitors and helps them attain those goals as they go along the way. Awesome.
It's a key point, and until you're a practice owner, but even before you're a practice owner, just something to embrace, that the numbers are the most important part. You can do the greatest crown preps and help patients, but if your numbers don't work out, it's a problem. So thanks, Jared. William, how about you?
I just think our goal is to make people better. I mean, just simple. We love working with dentists. Accountants are a lot like dentists in a lot of ways. That's why I think we get along. That's why you and I hit it off, Paul. A lot of people have no idea what business, how it works and what it looks like. And we don't learn that in school. And guess what? Accountants didn't learn that in school either. We had to learn it by getting in and doing it. So that's our goal, is to try to make better decisions, to understand the business of dentistry and set good goals and kind of build that life, that practice that supports the life they want.
And it's such a key point, and I always share at this point, I started this thing called the New Dentist Boost Camp, which I'm turning to the Dentist Boost Camp, and we talk about your dentist core. When I was 16, very popular to just do bench press and go eat, a bunch of grilled chicken, and we said, you know what, you really got to get your core in shape, and that's become popular. With dentistry, dental school overvalues clinical skills, which are important, but sometimes at the expense of no skills elsewhere. So we talk about your thinking skills, your mind, your communication, your words, and your clinical. And in dental school, they really just focus on those clinical. And when you get out, you realize you need this core to succeed. And I'm sure you guys see that with your clients. The question I have for you guys is, what's a common, Jared, pain point people come to you, they find a dental focus account and they say, this is what's bothering me. We ask patients, what's their chief complaint? Way too negative, dentist. How about this? How can I help you today? Not what's your chief complaint. But if someone came to you and said, hey, Jared, hey, Bill, this is bothering me. What's a good example of that?
Yeah. So I would say the number one complaint we hear, if we're talking to a prospective dental practice owner or whatever, it's, hey, Jared, Bill, I'm working my tail off. I'm working harder and harder and harder. I'm producing so much more than I did last year that at the end of the day, I have so much more stress. And I've worked harder than I ever have, but I'm taking home less money.
Yeah.
What's the deal? Where's it going? And they just don't know. And that's where we can dive in and say, hey, let's look at it. Let's dive deep. Let's figure out, your production's going up. Yeah, your collections are going up, but this is where it's going, and truly measuring that data. And because once you measure the data, you can manage it. And that's the end result. How you're going to get better is by looking at that.
That's such a key point. You know what I call that? I call that dad metabolism. I don't know what happened. I eat the same foods. I exercise the same. And I'm 15 pounds heavier than normal. What happened to this metabolism? But what I share is, and maybe Bill, you can speak about this, and I want people to have fun in life and spend money on stuff they do. But dentists will spend more money on their golf swing or sometimes training for a Tough Mudder, arguably a dangerous thing to do, dentists, than they will on their dental practices. So, Bill, do you find similar things when dentists come to you? That's some of their chief complaints.
100%. And that is in direct correlation to how we can help them. Because it's like Jared and I talk all the time, it's all about mindset. Because some people, that's okay. They're happy with that. They would rather work on their golf swing. There was a time in my career, I'm embarrassed to admit, I was more passionate about my golf swing than I was about our business and taking care of the people I work with. That's crazy. I mean, to me, that just blows my mind that I got to that point. And it took us having kind of go through a nasty split with a partnership group, and Jared and I forming our own firm that kind of got the fire back in me. But you have to have the right mindset, because again, some people, that's what they want. They want the country club lifestyle or whatever it is that, they kick off decent earnings and they're very stable and they're very comfortable. And those people are fine, but that's not the people we like to work with. The ones we want to work with are the guys that are going to come in and say, hey, I'm doing okay, but I hate I'm just kind of stagnant. I want to get better. I want to figure out how to make this thing work.
Staying stagnant's a problem. I also say it's like, it goes back to the physical fitness part. Don't let your life get lopsided. Everyone sees someone on the beach who just does bicep curls, never any leg exercise. Like, that guy's a little lopsided over there. And we've all gotten lopsided. You shared authentically, and that's happened to me too. You know, maybe you get lopsided and you overvalue one part of your life because you're super into training for triathlons and you don't pay attention to your business. And I just think it's important to kind of come back to a center and do that. So I want to ask you guys about the system that you use, because everything that matters needs a system and everything matters. So share with us this traction concept and the data points you want to talk to us about and what dentists can learn from that.
Yeah, so I'll start off just briefly. I mean, and we'll hit on traction, but you know, when we dive into a dental client, we basically do three things, if you will. And we really dive in. And first off, we want to figure out what they want to achieve. You know, what's their goals? You know, we can't get them to X if we don't know what X is, and they don't know what X is.
Right.
So what are their goals, strategic, the business and the personal side? Number two, what's the goal to get there? You know, maybe we're not going to go from point A to point B overnight, but what are those dominoes between A and B that we need to knock over to get to the end result? Yeah. And then number three, and that's the system we put in place. That's just the overall system of accountability. And that's the secret sauce, if you will, of what our service is we dive in and we monitor and we guide you along the way. And every single month, quarter, whatever, we're looking at data and we're measuring that data to see how you're doing. And not at the end of the day, you know, maybe you jump in, set those goals, and you don't look at a darn thing till a year later.
Right.
I guarantee you're not going to be closer to those goals at all. They're going to be so much in the distance still because you're not looking at that.
I love that concept. And, you know, life, to me, and I think it's just a super appropriate concept because we're trying to get through this pandemic. Are we mid-pandemic? I don't know. I hope we're mid. I hope we're closer to the end than the beginning. But life is lived in the middle. And it's like, you know, you don't have to say your practice stinks to go get help. That's not threatening. It's just sort of like, how do you feel? With dentists, unfortunately, and you guys, I don't know what they did in accounting school, but it seems nicer. Accountants are always so nice. I mean, you never meet an accountant causing a big ruckus or anything like that. Dentists, they're causing ruckuses at all times because they work by themselves, and we get this dental student and dentist Hunger Games mentality where we have this weird competition that no one's keeping track of, right? So if you said, you know, I want to make more money, but I now have to work 2 extra days a week and don't spend time with my children, that's no good. They say, oh, I want to have 2-3 days a week off, but I can't afford the basic necessity of my life. That's no good. So it's all about this life is lived in the middle. And I try to embrace that. I'm not always successful, but I think it's important. Bill, how about you?
I think to your point too, what's really cool is that if there's ever been a time to look at that and take a hard look at your model and reset or reinvent, man, now's the time because we are in the midst of a pandemic. I'm like you. I hope we're kind of in the sixth inning. Who knows where we are, but you still have time to take a look at what you're doing. If it's broken, fix it, make it better, you know, and that's where that system of accountability comes in because it's easy to say you're going to do that, but unless you're sitting down and actually being held accountable to those goals, you won't. It's human nature. It's too easy to kind of backslide on that.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest mistakes you can be making right now as a dental practice owner is not using the COVID-19 pandemic to reset or, as Bill says, reinvent your practice. I mean, dive deep right now to what close your eyes, envision what that practice you want to look like and start making those changes right now. Get those goals in place and then get that plan because right now is that perfect opportunity to do it.
And I think it's an important time to JFO, which I say, just find out and reach out to advisors. We're going to talk a few minutes more, but if people are listening now, how can people reach out to you guys if they want to learn how you can help them do these things? What's the best place for them to visit?
Yeah, the best thing to do is just go to ducketlab.com. You know, up at the top right, it says work together. Click on that, put in your information that gets into our funnel. It'll come across our sales and marketing platform. We'll reach out, get a Zoom call in place. So just go to the website. It's the best way.
Awesome. And I'm a big fan of the story is the star in life, whether it's me talking to a patient about implants, whether it's about talking about, you know, celebrating birthdays, whether it's not so great things, it's about stories. What's a story from one of your clients where, you know, they worked with you and they came to you and they say, now I'm so glad we did this. What do they feel better about? What kind of, you know, I think change to me, I don't like the word change. I like adjustments or modifies. So any stories that, you know, people came to you and said, I wish I did this different with the practice, share that with us. I'll let you go, Bill.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in on that, Jared, because I just recently had one I love. You know, actually, we started working with a client late last year, and I could look at their results. They're a specialist, actually, so their numbers should be through the roof, and they weren't great. You know, I could look at them and see there was something broke, and just through developing a relationship with this guy and talking through it, I could tell he's burned out. You know, he I'm not going to say he hated his job, but you could just see it in his face.
Yeah.
You know, that crying inside that you talk about,
Yeah,
that was him.
Yeah.
Right. So we just started sitting down and talking through this. And I think just through having somebody kind of come alongside him and trying to understand what's broken, how to fix it, and kind of develop the goals and the plans, I started to see an uptick, right? And so what was really crazy was January and February, rocking and rolling, feeling good.
Awesome.
You know, things are just going great. And then what happens? He's in Washington, Seattle, epicenter of the very first case, right?
Oh,
he
wow.
was right in that area. And so all of a sudden it just shut down and everything was done, right? So, you know, that's one thing I'm really proud about what we were able to do. We shifted our focus and said, hey, if our dentists are shut down, and we got to think different.
For sure.
Into cash flow management. We're shifting into figuring out what in the world's going on with PPP and all that nonsense that just took forever to get, you know, and then it was kind of like, okay, well, what's this going to look like on the flip side and with staffing? And it's just been so cool because now we're on the other side and we actually got through what we call our first normalized monthly financial review with this guy, and he crushed it. He had the best June he'd ever had. Production was through the roof. He had actually gone through this and was able to lean up his team. So all of a sudden those ratios that were so far out of whack, you know, they were there, and his numbers were great. And all of a sudden he's seeing cash and he's seeing cash flow, and he's a, you know, big into investing in real estate and stuff. And so now we have the ability to start talking about, hey, we got some cash now that we can start putting to work and kind of working on some of the other stuff you have going on. So it just was really cool to see that just getting your mindset right, getting your head back into the game, weathering the storm. And you talk about all the time, like people coming out the other side stronger. It can happen. It really can happen. We've seen it. But other people aren't. Other people are struggling, right? They're mentally not there. But this guy, I was so proud to see him kind of come out on the other side. He's head's in a good spot. He's got a rock star team in place, and they're gonna crush it.
I mean, that's what, you know,
he's excited.
I do a lot of comprehensive treatment plans. We have a prosthodontist, a periodontist. I do a lot of the communication. And we always have this little disclaimer or addition or heads up, hey, if we're going to make a shift or change, we're going to let you know. Well, COVID came and made a shift in all of our dental life treatment plans. And I'm telling you, if you guys, I'll give you a secret word for dentists. If you just say, hey guys, we're going to treatment plan your practice, we treatment plan all the time, they're going to get it because that's the glue that they get. So sometimes you have to adjust a treatment plan and you become more successful. And, you know, I'm a big Gary Vee fan, as you guys know. I was on that show. He's such a idol of mine. And changing your mind is a strength. And I mean, we all had our practices changed for us. And sometimes it's a lot, sometimes a little. I mean, stuff is happening right now outside of this door that never happened February before. We didn't have N95 masks in our practice. And that's just an adjustment to what we have to deal with. So I appreciate you sharing that. Jared, I'm going to ask you as we wrap up, and then we can take some questions from the Zoom group they're here. What is one thing, let's say you're a dentist, few years out of school, you want to get into practice ownership, you're not sure, you hear a lot of stuff, but you talk about these business fundamentals. What is one thing you would do to work on learning and developing some of these business fundamentals as a dentist?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I would kind of go E-Myth on this a little bit. Yeah. So you've got the technician, you've got that in place. If you're going to jump into practice ownership, you have to put on that entrepreneur hat and business owner hat. And you have to start reading books, listening to podcasts, talking to other dental practice owners about what it means to own a business. Not, I want to say just be a dentist. You know, the technician side. What does it take to own a business? What does it take to be a leader? What does it take to manage employees, team members? Figure that out now. Then when you do own the practice and you are in those shoes, you've understood a little bit. Yeah, you're still going to learn a little bit more, but you've had a learning curve that's shortened because you've started looking at this stuff. But getting that entrepreneur hat on right now is going to go a long way. I have that book around.
I have two books around me all the time, E-Myth Revisited and Checklist Manifesto. I love those two books. Yeah. Great share. And, you know, as I'm here and we're battling, surviving, thriving, trying our best as a team, you know, dentists know how to troubleshoot the technician part. My crown doesn't fit, I can troubleshoot it. My implant overdenture rocks, I can troubleshoot it. But how do you troubleshoot that one of your best team members is going to be home with their kids all fall and they can't come back to work? And that's why you just need to prepare and aware yourself and develop this dental course. So I appreciate you guys talking to me so much. Share with us one more time, Bill, how people can reach out to you to learn more about what you guys do.
Yeah, we appreciate the opportunity. Again, guys, you can go to our website, www.ducketlad.com, work with us. You can also check out our podcast. Awesome. We're trying to grow our audience there, trying to put out good content. Let us know what's interesting to you. What are some of the things that you feel like are some of these deficits or deficiencies that you maybe have in your practice that you're not sure of, topics that we can cover, things we can do to try to make you better. Anything you can give us there would be fantastic.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much. And always, you can reach out to us at dentalnachos.com. And we have our new community text. If you text the word nachos to 215-543-6454, just text the word nachos to 215-543-6454. You get a free CE gift and be part of our text community where we share all kinds of tips. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Got it.
Definitely appreciate it.